Hi everyone, I have Miss Suma Suresh here with me. She's a versatile person with a lot of talents here. She's a choreographer, she's a dancer, she's a theatre artist, and many more. So thank you for joining us. It's an honor. And ഞാൻ ഇന്ന് കുറച്ച് couple of questions ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് and I would like to see your experience with the movie. നമ്മൾ ടൈറ്റിൽ ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല, സ്റ്റിൽ മാജിക് മിസ് മീഡിയയുടെ കൂടെ ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. So how do you feel the experience and how did you come to it?
Firstly, thank you, Ashley, for having me here, and to Magic Miss Media for this opportunity that I've had with the short film. So how I got to Magic Media and how I got to be part of the film is one of the lead actors in the film is a dear theatre friend, and he has been working with us with our theatre collective, which is called Atom Arts Collective. അതൊരു 2 വർഷം മുമ്പ് തുടങ്ങിയ ഒരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷനാണ്. And we've been doing some theatre works for the Malayalam theatre goers in the Greater Toronto area. And we also collaborate with a lot of actors who work in different mediums, not just theatre, but also short films, dance, music. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ളൊരു ലോകത്തിൽ, there's many projects that will come your way. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ it's Mithun Raj who reached out and asked me about being part of this film that he had a concept for, and he said that Magic Mist Media was backing him up, and we've seen the work of Magic Mist in GTA. We've seen the few films that they've done, and it's really remarkable work. It's a bunch of passionate youngsters who are doing some good work and putting some good work out there. അപ്പോൾ ആ ഒരു പ്രോജക്റ്റിൻ്റെ ഭാഗമാവാനുള്ള ഒരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി കിട്ടുകയാണെങ്കിൽ, who would say no? So yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Foundation dance ആണ്.
Yes.
But there's a lot of shift in your full life, I would say. You grew up in the Middle East.
Right.
പിന്നെ business ചെയ്തു, mass communication. Then you were even trained on documentary filmmaking here
okay.
in Canada.
You've done your research.
Yeah,
Okay.
Research, come on.
Okay, yeah.
അപ്പം മാത്രമല്ല, now you are an artistic director of Sampradaya Academy, Atom Arts Collective. എല്ലാം ഇത്ര graceful ആയിട്ട് എങ്ങനെ മാനേജ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നു?
That's a good question. ഗ്രേസ്ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് പുറത്ത് കാണുമ്പോൾ നല്ല ഗ്രേസ്ഫുൾ ആയിട്ട് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടാവും, പക്ഷേ ഐ എം ഷുവർ യു ഡോണ്ട് നോ the balls we juggle, right? With these things. പക്ഷേ I've always been a lover of the arts. ചെറുപ്പത്തിലുള്ള എൻവയൺമെൻറ്റ് തന്നെ അമ്മയും അച്ഛനും അവരുടെ പ്രോത്സാഹനമൊക്കെ കാരണം I got into dance, learned some music for a few years. My parents are also very artistic by nature. അപ്പോൾ they knew that the arts is something you can always fall back on. നമ്മൾക്ക് ലൈഫിൽ എന്ത് വേണമെങ്കിലും പെർസ്യൂ ചെയ്യാം. ഡോക്ടേഴ്സ് ആവാം, എൻജിനീയേഴ്സ് ആവാം, ലോയേഴ്സ് ആവാം. പക്ഷേ what is this life if not for a good piece of cinema, without music, without the arts, right? So അങ്ങനെ അത് constantly pursue ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. I was trained in Bharatanatyam. I grew up in the Middle East, like you said. അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ തന്നെ പാട്ട് ഒരു ഇങ്ങനെ you would carry on with that as well. I've trained a few years in Carnatic music. But I've always been a lover of old Hindi classics. Thanks to my father's influence, my dad's a singer. അപ്പോൾ കിഷോർ, റഫി, എപ്പോഴും വീട്ടിലിങ്ങനെ പാട്ട് ഉണ്ടാവും, ഗസൽസ് ഒക്കെ constant ആയിട്ട് there was that. Cinema was another love. So my mother was an ardent film follower of പഴയ English classics. അപ്പോൾ ചെറുപ്പത്തിലെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് സിനിമ കാണുമായിരുന്നു. പിന്നെ ഹിന്ദി as a subject, when we had to learn in school, my parents would say, let's watch some good Hindi films. So we're not talking about the 80s films. We're talking about the 60s and the 70s where there was Dilip Kumar and, Rajkumar and all of them acting. So we've seen a lot of good cinema. It was always the thing. But as you know, we come from a South Indian Malayali household where, yes, you can hold on to it parallelly. But you've got to pursue your own academic pursuits. I went on to do business management and then did my master's in communications because I was always a people's person. I love public speaking. I love meeting people. I was in the debate clubs. ഒരു environment ആയിരുന്നു ചെറുപ്പത്തിൽ. So that kept going on. And Middle East work ചെയ്യുന്ന സമയത്ത് I was working in event management. And you know what that's like, right? It's a lot of fun. You get an incredible high by entertaining people, right? അപ്പോൾ അത് അങ്ങനെയുള്ള സമയത്താണ് കാനഡയിലേക്ക് വരാനുള്ളൊരു ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി വന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഇവിടെ വന്നപ്പോൾ I figured out their master's programs where you can pursue the arts. So I picked up a master's program at York University in Toronto and went on to do a master's in dance choreography. അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന സമയത്താണ് I reached out to Lata Pada, who's an icon for arts and culture really in the country. She's the founder and artistic director. She was the artistic director of Sampradaya then. And I reached out to her and I told her, I want to make a career in the arts. How do I do that? Because I don't think anyone in this country, especially from the South Asian background, had done that, to make a life in the arts or become very entrepreneurial with it. Karnam, you know how it is. They say there's not enough money in the arts. It's always a struggle. But here there was someone, besides her, there's Menaka Takarji, who came just about the time she was, even a few years before her, who had done that. So these are these remarkable firebrand women who I was very inspired by. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ ഒരു കോൾഡ് കോൾ ചെയ്തതാണ് ഞാൻ this is me, this is who I am, I want to meet with you. അങ്ങനെ pursue ചെയ്തു അവരെ, എന്നിട്ട് അവരെ meet ചെയ്തു. I did an internship with them. And then I think she liked my work and she brought me on board after I finished my master's. And I was with the company for about 6 years and I took on the artistic director position last year.
That's great. Yeah. It's very inspiring. കാരണം നമ്മളിവിടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്, ഇവിടെ പലരും സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആയി വന്നവരാണ്. നമ്മളിപ്പോഴും ആ ഒരു ഡാർക്ക് സൈഡ് ആണ് കാണുന്നത്. സ്ട്രഗിൾ, യു ജഗിൾ വിത്ത് സ്റ്റഡീസ്, യു ഹാവ് ടു ലൈക്ക് ഗെറ്റ് അപ്പ് ഓൺ യുവർ കരിയർ ആൻഡ് എവരിതിങ്. അപ്പം ഈ ആർട്ടിനെ സ്നേഹിക്കുന്ന, ഇപ്പം എന്തെങ്കിലും സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ കാരണം കാനഡയിലോട്ട് മൈഗ്രേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ നിൽക്കുന്നവർക്ക് അതൊരു വലിയൊരു ഇൻസ്പിറേഷൻ തന്നെയാണ്.
It really is.
Is there a lot of people like അങ്ങനത്തെ ഇൻട്രസ്റ്റ് ഉള്ള ആൾക്കാർക്ക്, how can they reach out to all these people? It's good thing that you did your research.
Right.
You were going to do you did the master's in arts, so you came to know such like contacts and everything, right? But if it's an average student who's here coming with a post-graduation diploma or whatever that is, avarku engane reach out cheyan pattum inganathe oru contacts le angante oru platform already ivide ipo undo?
You know, there are platforms to reach out and to find a footing in the arts. It's a small community. You may be daunted by the fact that, it's huge, but it's not. Everyone knows everyone. It's a small network. And there are a few of the few individuals who are really passionate about the sector, about the arts sector. The dance aikote, the theatre aikote. And for them, their worlds are not restricted to their little bubbles. You know, they want to do more. They want to give back. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കുറേ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽസ് ആയിട്ട് ഞാൻ കൊളാബറേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നതുകൊണ്ടാണ് എനിക്കിത് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. You know, I have a dear friend who's Harikishan Nair, who's also part of this film, who has banded with me to do Artam Arts Collective. We are also part of something called the South Asian Dance Alliance of Canada, which is an alliance where South Asian dancers across the country come together just to be able to share ideas, just to be able to find resources. എങ്ങനെയാണ് resources നമുക്ക്, through grants, how can we find them to be able to fund our projects? പിന്നെ like I said, the arts is very entrepreneurial. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾക്കൊരു 9 to 5 job ആണ് നമ്മൾക്ക് ഖുഷി തരുന്ന സാധനമെങ്കിൽ, it's not for you. There's got to be the drive. I'm sure the folks behind Magic Miss Media will know what I'm talking about. Karanam, you've got to be driven for finding that resources, finding sponsorships to be able to fund it. So it's not easy. It's very challenging. It can get really depressing, because not everyone has the same vision like you have. So if you're lucky to have found your circle, true, I think then you're set. And to those who are interested to take this on, I'd say just go and try. Really put your name out there, get yourself on people's radar and figure this out, because there's a way to do this. If entertaining people is your thing, there's definitely an avenue for it. It's just about networking and collaborating with the right talent.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. And it's a great thing that you have become established. അതൊരു ഫോറിൻ കൺട്രിയിൽ സൗത്ത് ഏഷ്യൻ ആർട്സിനെയൊക്കെ അത്രത്തോളം ഒരു റെക്കഗ്നൈസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു സ്ഥലമല്ല. മേ ബി ഇവൻച്വലി യെസ്, ഓർ ഇപ്പം അത് ആ ഒരു ട്രെൻഡ് മാറിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. ബട്ട് യു സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് ഇറ്റ് ലൈക്ക് ഇയേഴ്സ് എഗോ, 6 years എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. 6 years ഇത്രയും മലയാളികൾ ഇവിടെ ഇല്ല, ഇത്രയും ഓഡിയൻസ് ഇവിടെ ഇല്ല. Still you made yourself to come to this position.
Yeah, right? I also think we need to be really convinced. നമ്മുടെ ടാലന്റും നമ്മുടെ ആർട്ട് ഫോമും എന്താണെന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ അതിൽ ശരിക്കും കൺവിൻസ്ഡ് ആയിരിക്കണം. We don't need to get carried away by what you see outside, or our arts and our cultural scene is so rich. I feel like I keep talking to my colleagues and saying we've only scratched the surface. If നമ്മുടെ pursuit Bharatanatyam ആണെങ്കിൽ, when people ask you why don't you learn another form, I'm like, Bharatanatyam തന്നെ എന്ത് rich ആണ്. People don't recognize it. In fact, I saw my first Kudiyattam experience or performance at the UFT, at the University of Toronto in Mississauga. When they had brought a team from Kerala to present it here. As a Malayali, I was a little embarrassed that I had not had this opportunity until I moved here, until I realized the value of my own forms and where we come from. So I think all those things are important to keep in mind. And what really drives you, if you want the big $1 million mansions and the fancy cars, maybe the arts is not this line for you, I mean, our realization namakku venam, and we've got to be practical about it. But you're driven by other things, no? When you're in the arts, you're driven by making art, right?
Did you have a hard time convincing the people around you?
I did. I've also had some personal challenges myself to figure this out and figure out that this is the path I want to take. I mean, yes, people call you foolish all the time. You're like, really, you think you can make the 6 figures in the arts? I'm like, we've got to figure it out. You know, we want to make it happen. We want to convince the new generation that it's possible, you know. So yeah, there's always that. There's always that where they ask me, what do you do really? I'm like, I'm in the arts sector. No, but no, what's your full-time job? What's your real job? I'm like, that is my real job. You know, I do curation, I do programming, we do business development for a company. വെറുതെ അല്ലല്ലോ ഒരു entertainment നിങ്ങൾ കാണുന്നത്. There's a lot of back work that goes into it, right? So yeah.
തിയേറ്റർ ആർട്ടിസ്റ്റ് എന്നുള്ളൊരിത് ചെറുപ്പം തൊട്ടേ ഡാൻസ് ഒക്കെ പഠിച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു എൻവയോൺമെന്റിൽ വളർന്ന ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞു കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട് ഒരു പോയിന്റ് വരെ ഇറ്റ് വാസ് മോർ ലൈക്ക് ഒരു ഓട്ടോമാറ്റിക് ആയിട്ട് നടക്കുന്നതാണ്. പേരൻസ് ആർ ടേക്കിംഗ് യു ടു ദി ഡാൻസ് ക്ലാസസ്, മ്യൂസിക് ക്ലാസസ്, യു ഗോ. പക്ഷെ നമുക്ക് ആ ഒരു പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ഇന്റേണൽ ഡ്രൈവ്, ആ ഒരു റിയലൈസേഷൻ വന്നത് ഒരു മൊമെന്റ് എപ്പോഴായിരിക്കും? അതിനെപ്പറ്റി ഓർത്തെടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
I think I was in college. I think I was doing I think my degree padikkumbodan thonunu, where I realized that this is so much more than what I just studied during my growing up years. And also, like you said, it's the environment, right? If you've got the right teacher, if you've got the right mentors, if you're talking to the right people, there is a spark that will happen if you're lucky. And if you're really invested in it. Appo eniki thonunu degree ku padikkumbo they wanted to do the Bible story in Bharatanatyam, and they wanted me to play Mother Mary. So you know, I couldn't fathom biblical story in the form of Bharatanatyam. Not too many people have done it. It's been done. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെ കോളേജിൽ വീണ്ടും I came back into dancing, and then I really haven't looked back. It was always part of something I was doing. And the fact that yeah, of course, life happens, right? You get married, you have children, and you've got to figure out your priorities at that point. It shifts a little bit. But then your true calling will always find you, you know? Okay. That's what it is, yeah.
And theatrical experience, adile or art, like acting, when it comes to short film movies, അത് ഭയങ്കര ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആണ്. What you put out on there, രണ്ടിൻ്റെ എഫേർട്സ് ഡിഫറെൻ്റ് ആണ്. രണ്ടിലും നിങ്ങൾ മേ ബി ദ വേ യു ആക്ട്, ആ ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഇസ് ഓൾസോ ഡിഫറെൻറ്റ്. ഇപ്പം ഷോർട്ട് ഫിലിം മാജിക് മിസ് മീഡിയയുടെ കൂടെ ഒരെണ്ണം ചെയ്തു. മുന്നേ ഇതുപോലത്തെ വേറെ ഓഫേഴ്സ് ലൈക്ക് ഫിലിം ഓഫേഴ്സ്, ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് ഇറ്റ്സ് വെരി ഹാർഡ് ഫോർ മീ ടു ബിലീവ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഹാവൻ ഗോട്ട് എനി ലൈക്ക് ഫിലിം ഓഫേഴ്സ് എന്ന് ഒരിക്കലും പറയണ്ട. പക്ഷേ have you had such opportunities like come your way?
No.
Really?
No, the truth of the matter is it hasn't really come my way. Also because, you know, maybe my focus was in other things and I've not really pursued it. I've not really hustled for it. Which is you know, so I can't even compare myself to somebody who's a struggling actor or you know, people who really try hard to get into that space, because I know they work really hard. They work really hard on their acting. They work really hard on getting that you know, that call back or that audition call even. So I've not tried any of that, because not that I've not wanted it, not that I've not fancied it. But it's just that, you know, life just happens and it's taken its course. And like you said, and this is my very first experience in front of a camera for an acting role. I've done theatre since I was a kid and now going into professional theatre. And it's very different and it's been a challenge. I'm sure Akshay Monsi and Akshay Anup will, you know, vouch for that it's a completely different experience. Yeah, it's a learning though. I mean, I'd like to grab every opportunity that I get. You only live once, right? And we all have limited amounts of time in this world. So we just grab all the opportunities we get now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I wish this could go on. Because ഒരുപാട് questions എനിക്ക് ചോദിക്കുന്നത്. It's very inspiring to talk to you. Thank you.